Yeah, they definitely value. Things are not transactional here; they're relationship based. So
yes,
it's not,
and they look you in the eye. That's one thing I've noticed too is eye contact.
Yeah.
It's very different. Wherever you go for service, they look at you and then take all the time. There could be 20 people behind you, but they don't even look. The person is not looking at those people. They are looking at you, the person.
Forget your expectations about what you think it is, and just be open to new experiences and let things happen and unfold, and have a sense of wonder. Don't come with a defined sense of what you think it will be or what it should be. Just kind of let it happen and be open. So,
yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm.
Is it a peacock?
It is a peacock.
Yes. You've got a peacock as well?
We have so many.
Yeah.
Portugal.
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 Our vegetables are like rock stars.
Literally, Portugal is a small Disneyland for grown-ups.
I think that Portugal is like my geographic soulmate.
It's hard to explain what it is because it's a feeling.
And when I went there, I absolutely fell in love with Portugal.
I wanted to feel the crunchiness.
Portugal, the Simple Life Podcast.
Portugal, the Simple Life Podcast.
And we're here on his podcast, Portugal Simple Life.
Portugal, the Simple Life Podcast. Your insider's perspective into Portugal. And our latest episode starts right now. Welcome back, or welcome to another episode of Portugal, the Simple Life. I'm Dylan, and I'm joined here by Steve and Angela for another edition of My Home in Portugal. Steve, Ange, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
How are you?
You're welcome.
Today?
Good.
Great.
We're enjoying some sunshine.
Yes.
Nothing
Beautiful.
wrong. Yeah, we've got. You might hear some background noise of chickens and donkeys.
Yes.
But that's the simple life, right?
That's right.
Yeah, that's what we signed up for.
Exactly.
Why don't you tell us where we're sitting right now?
Yeah, so we're in our backyard in Foz and in Portugal.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, we do this episode quite often. It's after doing this podcast for 6 years, it's still one of my favorite type of episodes to do is talking to people like yourselves who have done this and made the journey.
Yeah.
Just tell us a bit about yourselves to start with.
Sure.
My career, I was a nurse in the U.S., and I recently retired. Just been about 3 months ago. So after a long career in cardiac nursing,
that's stressful.
Intensive care, that kind of thing. So yeah.
I was a consultant and helped people install computer systems at their companies. And we got this place, I think, August of 2024, kind of preparing for...
When it was ready.
Yes, when it was ready,
yes.
Yep. We were preparing for kind of retirement. As Angie said, we pulled the plug on working in February. Got here on February 15th.
Yeah.
And now spending time between the two places.
Yep.
Yes, we still go home. We have family, grandchildren, and some things going on at home, so we'll have to come back and forth.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah.
Tell me how this idea of Portugal started for you guys.
Yeah, so we, Angie and I did a fair amount of travel around Europe, but got as close as Spain, and we're just thinking about, an adventure when we retire and where we could go, and just started doing some research, and Portugal kept kind of popping into our research, and the more we learned about it, the more we really thought this would be a great place. And so then we came and did a couple scouting trips and kind of tried to narrow down where we might want to potentially, have a place, and found our way to you, and here we are.
What was the idea of Portugal more like what you're doing now? Kind of a holiday, semi-permanent destination? Or did that idea evolve as the years have progressed?
I think it was probably kind of a goal. I think it allowed us to maybe retire a little bit earlier than we anticipated, just because it's a bit more affordable than trying to retire in the U.S.
Okay.
Healthcare in particular. And I think the more we spent here visiting and touring, the more we thought we would like to spend more time here. So, yeah.
Did it? I mean, we don't have to get like too political or anything, but is there changes in what's going on back home which led to this also being more of a permanent to semi-permanent move?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I think that definitely weighed into our decision making, and we sometimes wish that we could just bring the whole family over here. So
Yes.
grandkids.
The quality of life is very different here. It's safer. It feels safer. It's more peaceful. We don't have to deal with a lot of the very sad things that are going on or continuing to go on at home. In particular, gun violence and such. So,
because when you talk about wanting to enjoy your retirement, and I mean, it's interesting that you said you're able to do this earlier because of Portugal. But in terms of wanting to enjoy your retirement, and when you're planning for this, what were the things that you were looking at in a place that were important for you?
I think about our original thought. I think was to live in Lisbon, and just because we wanted to be, in what we thought was like a busy city and lots of activities, but
walkable.
Walkable, yeah.
I think we were looking for. Well, actually, we didn't know until we've lived here longer. But just having everything right in our little community, our town, everything we can walk to. Of course, we have Coldish very close for other things, more variety, but we don't have that in the U.S. We have to drive everywhere. We don't have, like a grocer we can walk to, or a butcher, or a pharmacy, or the ocean, a wine bar, none of that. So that was very appealing.
How is the wine bar? I haven't
It's
been.
really
fantastic.
good.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So he does wine tastings once a month.
So you tasted some
yes,
wines.
yes, and learned a lot about Portuguese wines, and he's just a great guy that runs it. So,
very nice.
Yeah. But just being able to walk and being able to walk safely around at all times of day or night or whatever, it's just refreshing. And
I think the other thing we wanted that we recognized here in Faj is that we didn't want to move from the U.S. and then go to like a U.S. community in another country. We wanted to really get immersed in the culture, and I think this isn't as touristy as some of the other kind of coastal cities. It's there's still a lot of locals that have lived here for a long time, and it's fun to get to know them. And people have been very warm and welcoming. So
very friendly.
Let's take us back. Let's take you back to starting the whole search. You mentioned initially you were looking at Lisbon. You obviously started to dig deeper into the what's and the where's and the hows. Yeah. How did that all? Take us through how that all evolved, and how you ended up looking at this area.
Yeah. So we
you go ahead.
Here. But so we took a number of trips here. Our first trip we stayed for a week in Lisbon, and we really enjoyed it. It was beautiful. It was fun. And then we went inland a little bit. We spent some time in Tomar, and that was. We looked at a couple places there and really thought that might be it.
I really liked it. I did too.
Oh, it's stunning.
Yeah. We even looked at a place somewhat similar to this architecture.
And then I think I was watching your podcast, and I found out a little bit more about this area. And I'd always heard about Silver Coast, and I thought before we made any long-term decisions that we wanted to make sure that we kind of looked at all the potential areas. So we met with you. I think initially it was over the a Zoom call. Yep, we were in the U.S. Set up some time with you for our next visit, and I think I remember we toured or went to kind of 3 sites, and this was the last one. And we came down the hill overlooking the ocean, and I was like, that was
the lagoon.
That was pretty much it. Yeah, after we saw that view.
Right.
Yes,
you were looking. I mean, you're from Minnesota.
Yep.
I do have something a bone to pick with you. So you very kindly a few years ago gave me a Minnesota Vikings cap. I use it a lot.
Yeah, good.
But I've received verbal abuse.
Really? Oh my gosh! From Packer fans?
Those pesky Packer fans. We were doing a walk, not far from here.
Yeah.
And we were walking along, myself and my wife, and we just walked past this random group of people, and they were like, and they said, "Oh, are you from here?" We said, "Yeah, we live here." They go, "So, do you live nearby?" And we were explaining that we live not far, and I've been here for 16 years. And they said, "We love this country. This hiking trail is amazing, but you need to take off that cap." And they had some Packers stuff.
Yes, of course.
I said, "Why do you want to trade?" And they're like, "No, I wasn't going to trade it." But anyway.
Funny.
But I mean, did you have the idea that you had to look inland because of affordability? Had you considered coastal? What was? Because I'm curious why Tomar. It's also. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's more of an inland location.
Yeah, I don't know if we.
He just loved the history there, and
it's insane. Yeah.
But we learned that it gets very hot there in the summer months, almost intolerable. Like you can't be outside. Maybe it's so hot, it
does. Yeah.
Not as close to the water. And he loves the ocean, so then we got to thinking. Oh, and the other thing was, we were trying to keep from the Lisbon airport, the drive to our home here an hour or less.
Yeah.
We thought that would help family, friends, visitors. If it just wasn't, the journey's already far for them, then to come, so we wanted to keep it about an hour, which this area is even less, depending on traffic, less than an hour to the airport.
If you're in the right time bracket, it can be quite seamless.
Yeah. So that was. But really, it was when you showed us this area, it just fit. It was not overly busy. I know in the summer months it gets busy, but we like that. That's really festive and fun. That doesn't bother us. We're still off the main road there, where I think, and we just like that we can walk. We're 5 minutes the car down to the main beach, or a 15-20 minute walk.
Yeah,
we can walk all over.
Yeah, so you guys are, just for people to know, I mean, we're not going to give away addresses here, but you've got Foz do Arelho, you've got the lagoon, which is
so cool. It's so cool.
You've got, then Foz is kind of separated into two sections. You've got the beach part of Foz, and then you've got where you are, which is the more residential part of Foz.
Yeah.
How's that experience been with being in the typical Portuguese village?
So great.
It's great.
It's our favorite thing.
Yeah.
I would say it's my favorite thing.
It's got the right mix of kind of gritty in a good way. There's some buildings that have been here for a long time and show their age, and then there's some newer buildings, and there's been a lot of people that have kind of fixed their building up, and so
a lot of good work going on.
Let's go. So let's jump back. You've been to Tomar. It was then after that we got in touch, right?
Yeah.
And I do remember very clearly that you had been to Tomar and that you had been to Lisbon.
Yeah.
What was it on paper about this whole region that you thought, okay, we're going to get on a plane again? Because it's not like you're coming from Europe, like a lot of our other clients. You're coming from far away. I mean, how far is it to fly?
Well, 6 hours, from here to Boston, and then another 2.5 hours to Minneapolis. So no direct flights. So we typically fly from Minneapolis to Boston to here. So
okay,
yeah,
so
I mean it's
9 hours and layovers and
at
all
least
of that stuff.
Yeah.
And nobody likes to fly.
No,
it's horrible.
It is horrible.
But what was it that on paper you thought, okay, this is worth us actually coming out and looking?
Yeah, I think probably even leading up to that, just our previous trips to Europe and kind of traveling around, it wasn't overly daunting. I mean, it's definitely, nobody likes to fly, but the price for that is, this beautiful area and
affordability and healthier lifestyle for us, less stress, just the availability of food here, the type of food that we like, kind of Mediterranean diet, if you will, is so much more affordable and plentiful here than where we've come from. But also, Steve is fascinated with Portugal. He has been since we met. And the history of it. He knows so much about the history and is still loving the history. I mean, I can't tell you how many books he's read about Portugal, and he appreciates it. And really, it was his dream to move here, and he'd like to live here full time. And right?
I mean,
so
there's definitely
he's holding back.
definitely our ties to the U.S.
We'd like everyone to come here if they could, but it's not possible, at least right now, anyway.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah. Okay, so fast forward, you get on a plane and you come out. The focus was now on this area. We had the Zoom call. I had a good conversation with you guys, trying to understand more or less what you're looking for. First impressions when you got to the area, did the description match?
Absolutely.
What was inside the can match the description?
Yes. Even better.
Yeah, it was better than the glossy brochure. I mean, I think just the dramatics of the cliffs and the ocean right there, in the beach and the lagoon. It's so different from where we are. I don't think you can get further from the ocean than Minneapolis. I mean, it's kind of all directions. We have a lot of lakes, and it's really a beautiful area, but just the dramatics of the ocean and the area here is just really something.
So you come over, you meet a complete stranger, you get into my car, and we spent the day together.
Yes.
And as you mentioned, we arrived to Foz, the location appealed.
Yes, absolutely.
But this was just a
dirt.
Just a dirt patch.
Right.
And there was a few that
we
had
have
started
pictures
construction.
Yes, right.
How come? Like, what was it where you thought, this is still okay?
I think just kind of seeing the neighborhood around here. You guys did a good job of kind of showing what it might look like. And we, the U.S. had built 2 houses with builders before, kind of from empty lots. And so that wasn't
too scary.
Yeah, that wasn't too scary to make the leap. It is a leap of faith, building a house in general, but building a house from the U.S. in another country, that definitely is a leap of faith. But it wasn't, just the idea of it wasn't too daunting. I mean, I could kind of see the vision.
And the way you presented it and described it seemed very doable, and it was. And that all of that went very smoothly. Like, we feel very fortunate that everything went so smoothly from the minute we were on this dirt to, getting the villa completed. It all went quite well.
Well, I mean, because it is scary. Like, I mean, you've built homes in the U.S. The idea of building a home not in your own country. Some might say you're crazy.
Yes, we had people, I think, thought that definitely in our own
family or whatever.
Yeah, at home,
friends.
What were the things that made it easier for you in terms of the whole setup and how it all worked in the process?
I think just having a good idea of kind of
the timeline.
You laid out the timeline and what happens and when, and the foundation goes in this date and next comes this. So it seemed to me that it was pretty organized, and it was almost probably happening a little faster than we wanted to begin with. But that's pretty unusual when you build a house, is that it's done when they say that it's going to be done, and that happened here. So that was good. Yeah.
I think everything must have cooperated for the builder and the weather, and we were very fortunate. I know that doesn't always happen, and there's delays and things, but we didn't have many, if any. So I think that's a little bit unusual, and the communication with Tanya was good, and
I mean, Tanya, you had kind of people that were going with you along the way. That must have been an important part of it.
You have to have that, and you have to feel secure about that. Still a leap of faith, though. It's still a lot of trust. We're far away. We couldn't be here watching.
progress reports must have been. Getting the
yes,
monthly
the
progress
videos,
reports
pictures,
must have
yeah,
been.
it was
It was
huge.
fun.
Yeah, that was important for sure. And we did connect with some neighbors,
Oh, yeah.
Barb and John.
Yes.
And,
that was very helpful, too, because they had already,
they
were
telling us,
further along.
Their house was- they were one of the earlier.
Yes, and so that was a good feeling to know. Then we started getting to know a few of the other people that had bought, and we're on
we did take a couple trips here during the construction
Yeah,
process, so we could
yeah.
see it.
Yep. Yep, we
So it's
came
Brought your mom.
when it was almost finished. So again, that was really building confidence, once we saw it, and
Amazing. Between my job as a realtor at Portugal Realty and hosting this podcast, life is pretty busy. But lately I've been receiving so many messages from people that want to know more about buying property here on Portugal's Silver Coast that I've got to do something about it. So starting now, for subscribers only, I'm offering up a 30-minute session per day. That's 5 30-minute sessions for a one-on-one meeting to talk about buying property here on Portugal's beautiful Silver Coast. This is for subscribers only. So please subscribe to book your session and get in touch with us through the links below via WhatsApp or email to book your session today. I'll be happy to speak to you. It's for subscribers only and it's completely free. Fast forward, the house gets finished on time.
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, finished on time. Yeah, and yeah, you're right. Early on, we thought, that's probably going to happen a little too soon. Our timeline wasn't quite at that speed, but it worked out.
Yeah. Because the process was helpful for you guys from a timing perspective as well, because it was by the plot and it was the stage payment process.
Yep.
And it helped for timing as well as not just financially, but also from when you'd be ready to
Yes.
using it.
Exactly.
Right?
Because we were downsizing at home as well. We moved from...
We had some moving parts.
So there was some
selling a
moving
house,
parts,
buying another a smaller house, then getting this place.
Yes, and transitioning to thinking about when we would stop working. So, was all of that was in
Was
the works.
happening at the same
Yep.
time
Yep.
while you're building a house
Yep.
in Portugal.
Yep.
Take us to the moment that you arrive here, everything's done. How was that? How did that feel?
Surreal, I think. Yeah, I remember we showed up, I think on the day of the inspection, we were going to take delivery, and we went down to the beach, had lunch, and met Tanya, and I think
we hadn't slept at all. So we were a little, not jet lagged, but we literally hadn't slept. Yep, and we had to do the walkthrough.
But it was great. It was surreal. It just didn't it's hard to believe it actually happened. So yeah, but it was good.
It was a good feeling.
Amazing. Fast forward 2 years now. House delivered in 24. We're now 26.
Wow.
How's it been? There's the luxury that we have in the world today is that we can be in different places. We're not stuck to a single place, and you could have roots in 2 different places, even 3 different places.
Yeah.
How's it been now, the 2 years since taking ownership of the house, coming back and forth, experiencing the place more? How's that experience been for you guys?
Really good. I think getting more and more familiar with everything, and of course, just aesthetically, everything's come along. All the plants and the gardens. We've had such a wonderful person to work with that, and then inside, we've been gathering more and more things, so it's feeling more like home.
We've had visitors.
Yeah, we've had quite a few visitors. I think the hardest thing is then leaving. It's hard to leave here and leave it. I don't know, and then it's hard to be at home and know what we're missing here in a way. But also we miss things at home as well, of course. But overall, no, it's getting more familiar. And
I'd say it's getting
we're meeting a lot more people, and wonderful people that are like us, that are in our age, that have done the same thing. Many from the U.S. So we've met this trip because we came February 15th.
Yeah. And
just really cool people that are like-minded and wanted to come here for the same reasons,
Yeah.
Which feels really cool. And yeah.
So we've bumped into each other a number of times.
Yeah.
Actually, here's a nice memorabilia. This is
Yes.
from the Caldas Beer Fest.
That's right.
I do remember one of our conversations right at the beginning was craft beer.
Yes.
Do they do some good craft beer?
Yes.
Yes.
You don't have to worry. It's going to
Yeah.
be covered.
Yes.
But I'm curious about, there was this brochure idea and this idea on paper to, okay, now we're buying a plot of dirt with
Yes.
3D renderings,
Yeah.
to now it's 2 years of coming back and forth. Very importantly for the two of you was you wanted to be in a real Portuguese location. What have you discovered now? How have you enjoyed being in a place, being near to Caldas, the village? What have you discovered? What wasn't on the what wasn't on the brochure that you've enjoyed and discovered since coming back and forth for the last 2 years?
Well, I mean, I there's so many like hidden gems of like we just kind of stumble across these like little restaurants or cafes or whatever, and have these amazing meals with people running these restaurants that are just so friendly and warm, and so that's been just great. I think the other thing that wasn't on the brochure was kind of just community, just kind of getting to know people and all the events that are going on. Like,
There's something you cannot be bored. There's soup festivals. There's
We're going to another one this weekend. Yeah.
Which one are you going to this weekend?
The one in
Mount Olive.
Mount Olive. Yeah, it's in Caldas here.
Okay.
So,
or is it not a
Nadador?
Well, anyway,
either one, yeah.
there's many types of festivals, music, just antique show. I mean, just something, flea markets on huge scales. What else? Hiking. A lot more hiking than I ever dreamt of. We can hike here or just very close car ride. So that's been great.
Some dinosaur tracks hiking.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yes.
In Salida de Porto, those ones?
Yeah.
Or
between San Martino and Nazaré, there's a trail along the cliffs here, and there's some. But I know there are some up there too.
Yeah.
Salida de Porto, but yeah.
Yeah, those ones. I'm a dinosaur believer.
Yeah.
So, but those aren't that for me. Myself and my 8-year-old son don't think those are.
Oh, really?
dinosaurs.
Okay. Interesting.
But it's worth the hike because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah.
And just all the.
I didn't know that they were between San Martino and Nazaré. I need to check that out.
Yeah.
All the different cities we've been to. We could name many. We just get in the car and go all over, and
You're in Loria for
been there quite a few times.
kind of an initial doctor appointment just to establish care, and we had time between two appointments, and we were looking for a place to eat, and we walked maybe 100 meters to this little restaurant that is like a one-person restaurant. This one person takes your order, makes the food, it was unbelievable. She was great. She read through the entire menu, talked about all the ingredients. The food was just unbelievable. So it's all those little hidden gem experiences. We did that in Peniche as well, same kind of thing. Yeah.
And a lot of different foods. We like traditional Portuguese food, and we love fish and seafood. That would be my favorite. But also there's every type of Indian, we love Indian food and vegetarian. We found a bunch of great vegetarian restaurants, and so that's been exceeded my expectations, I think, a little bit.
Amazing. What's some of the places that you visited?
Towns, or
that you've enjoyed.
We just had friends in town. Went to Porto. That was fun for two. We went to Tomar with them also.
Again.
We've been down to the Algarve. We've been Coimbra. Let's been a couple times since we've been here. Alentejo. We've gone out Evora, I think, with the Roman ruins, which is
and the skull chapel, the chapel with skulls inside.
I haven't been to that.
Florence.
Yeah.
Last weekend we went I mean, this isn't very far at all. We went to Santarém,
Santarém.
and we went to a winery there. They have a Japanese fusion restaurant. The winery is spelled Ode.
Yeah.
I don't know. We just stumbled
a few times. Well, I've been once. My wife's been twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
We really like that.
Because they also do like a festival.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they do a couple of festivals throughout the year, which is when we first went there. It was in the summer. It was blistering.
Oh, like that. Yeah.
Hot. You talk about tomorrow, and it was literally you walked out the building and it felt like it's an oven.
Radiating the heat.
But now my wife went recently to one I was away. In the Netherlands, I think, and they went for a spring festival.
Oh, okay.
She said it was just amazing.
Yeah.
Good wine.
Oh, that was fun.
Food and wines,
trying to think where else. Bambarral.
Bambarral, the Pear and Wine Festival.
We like the Pear and Wine Festival.
So good.
That's in August. Yeah. We went last August, and that was just a really great experience. So just everything, it's all very close. It's like...
I think that festival, they put pear... on the end. They include pear in the name so that you don't feel so bad.
Yes.
You don't feel like an alcoholic.
Yes.
Going to the wine because it's more wine than
it's a lot of wine.
Yes, yeah. It should be wine in for the festival.
Yeah. Wine, and we have some pears if you want.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
We're sitting here out in the garden, and you've got this. You're in a village. You're not far from a city. But you've got this beautiful peace and quiet. We joked about the chicken and the donkey.
Yes.
How does it feel to you coming here from the US in terms of just the pace, the peace, the quiet? You mentioned how safe it feels. Because we live in a world where it's a crazy world at the moment that we're living in. How does it feel when you are able to come here?
I think you can, there's this like built-in news cycle in the U.S. that builds tension up, and I think when you come here, that just goes away. I'll be curious. We've been here for a couple months now, and 3 months, I think, before we go back. I'll be curious how it feels, going the other way. Once we've kind of geared down here, what it'll feel like going back there. So
it's night and day. It's very different.
We're in a suburb. We're not in the middle of a huge city.
But our kids are in the city in Minneapolis proper, where they've been for months and months experiencing ice and all of that. So it's very, very different. You come here and I can't even explain it. It's like culture shock.
Yeah, in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Almost, I guess for me, I feel guilty. I want them to experience it. I want them to feel this. I want them to be able to live this life. That's what I think about a lot.
Yeah. What do you want to say about the Portuguese people? Because you're living in a place where, like what you wanted, was not just a place where you've got a whole bunch of expats or British or US. You're in a place where there's this lovely... I was looking at that beer fest that we went to. I just... Because I've been here a long time, and it was just such a wonderful thing for me to see people from all over just being happy together, and tables with, you heard British, you heard Dutch, but then you heard the Portuguese, and even then you had a band of guys that, the Four Horsemen, who met each other here and play music here, and they have Portuguese fans, and... what do you want to say about the Portuguese people? Because you've met Portuguese people. Initially, it was the people that helped all of this happen.
Right.
You mentioned Tanya, and you had other people along the way, and the builder, and all of that. Yeah. The lawyer. But now you've met Portuguese neighbors, and what do you want to say about the Portuguese people?
Gracious and respectful, and
so kind, gracious, tolerant of us, and us struggling to try and learn Portuguese, and they're just very patient.
I think we the guys that helped do the landscaping here, we got close with those guys. And, we were here for I think 2 weeks when they were working on it, and every morning we'd have coffee with them, and at the end of the day we'd share a sagaresh together, and it was those guys were fantastic, and just as a reflection, I think, of everybody we've interacted with from a Portuguese perspective, they're just very tolerant and happy and respectful, and obviously not everybody's like that, but the people we've run into have been like that. So
sometimes we wonder what the Portuguese community and people are thinking, and we don't know because we haven't been able to get the conversation or strike that conversation, but we would hope to, like, we would love to have.
This was a concern for you as well. I remember we had discussions about this, that what do the Portuguese think about us coming here? And I'm 16 years here as a foreigner, and I look like a foreigner. I don't look Portuguese. But it's just a beautiful place where people are just welcoming and happy.
Absolutely.
And it's a rare commodity today.
It is. It is.
I just ran into a guy this morning in the parking lot of the grocery store, and we were talking for 20 minutes about cars, and he was Portuguese, and we were able to communicate with each other, but he just was so friendly. I mean,
How's that experience been? Because I talk about a lot on the podcast, this relationship with time. And we both come from countries where nobody ever has time for anything. Yeah. You're always rushing.
Yes.
And here you go, you meet a random guy and in 20 minutes, just chatting. And he was probably late for a meeting and or an appointment or something. But I was doing an interview yesterday with, it's actually something that you guys should go to before you leave there. It's a Dutch guy and a Belgian guy. They got involved with an association, and they're doing a concert in Caldas on the 23rd. Okay. To raise money for the victims of the storm. Okay. Yeah. And the lady is a Portuguese lady who runs this association, and she was saying, for us the priority is community and people. Yeah. So often we're late for things, but it's because in every appointment along the way, every chore, or every errand that we're running, it's a conversation. Yes. Yeah. It's okay. Let's just have a quick cup of coffee. Yeah. And it's not a quick cup of coffee. It's a conversation. If you're in the grocery store, Yes. The line goes because the cashier has a conversation. Yes. Right. How the kids did it. Yes.
And they don't rush you. Yeah. They give everyone the time that they need.
It's not uncommon, and I'm sure you've heard this from other people talk to, but in the U.S., when you go to a restaurant, it's not uncommon for them to say, you have to stay for 90 minutes. That's the starting of it.
And also, I must say, because I don't want to bash the U.S., but I found dining in the U.S. quite stressful. But it's also because I'm spoiled because of being here for so long. But every 10 minutes, the waiter's like, are we good here? Yes. Anything else? Yes. And you're like,
they do.
And here you have to find the person so you can pay. Right.
Yes. Complete opposite. Yes. Now we're so used to it now.
Yes.
And it's wonderful.
It takes some time.
Used to it. Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Yeah. They definitely value. Things are not transactional here; they're relationship based. So
and they look you in the eye. That's what one thing I've noticed too is eye contact. Yeah. Is very different. Wherever you go for service, they look at you and then take all the time. There could be 20 people behind you, but they don't even look. The person is not looking at those people. They are looking at you, the person. Yeah. I've witnessed that so many times, and the respect people giving to, especially old elders too, here, I feel is really great. Yep. We've witnessed anyway.
What advice would you give to people that are listening and want to do this? Maybe make a move, but maybe also do something that you and many other people are doing. Where we live in a mobile world, we can be back and forth. We can have our grandkids and our families in one place and our happy place in another place and our doctor maybe somewhere else. Yeah. But what advice would you give to people that want to do this?
I would say just forget your expectations about what you think it is, and just be open to new experiences and let things happen and unfold, and have a sense of wonder. Don't come with a defined sense of what you think it will be or what it should be. Just kind of let it happen and be open. So,
yeah, I agree.
Is it a peacock?
It is a peacock.
So you've got a peacock as well?
We have
Peacocks
so
around,
many.
Yes. Yeah.
Have you seen the ones in Caldish?
Yes. Walking around through the park. Yeah.
Walking around through the city centre as well there.
We have some right behind us on the street we can see anytime.
Crazy.
It's I just love when if you sometimes go to the Praça da Fruta, the farmers market, and you see the peacocks walking around there.
Yeah.
And there's some of them that they walk across the zebra crossing and the cars stop
Oh, that's great.
to let them cross.
Do they wave a wing at the car and it goes by?
No, they're rude. They're very rude, those peacocks. This might be, you might repeat yourself a little bit here, but why does Portugal feel like home?
Why does it feel like home? I think it's just the sense of calm, I think, that probably we're missing from home. We've had some visitors from family and friends that have come here and loved it. I think it's just, again, also the people we've met, that community piece has been great. That makes it feel like at home. So
I think it's more that this environment is what we want for our home.
Yes.
It's more that, like, this is what we seek for this this chapter in our life. More calm, more peace,
more fish.
I guess it's the climate here is just less stressful because of the we don't have the political unrest and the injustice. Everything going on in our country is quite heightened right now, and so this feels like what we want for a home, right? Does that make sense? It's very hard to describe, I guess, but so what we're trying to create.
Yeah. Well, it's not a beer, but it's a beer mug, so cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for being on the podcast.
Salud,
Thank you for your trust in working with us and going through all of this process with us.
Yeah, thank you.
And see you at one of the festivals.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And that's a wrap.
All right. Thank you.
So thank you once again to our guest, and thank you to all of you for listening. Please subscribe, share with your friends, give us a thumbs up, and please leave a comment or a review. We always love to hear from you. Don't forget, Portugal The Simple Life also has a magazine, so download it. It's for free. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode, and as we say in Portugal, sejas bem-vindo. Welcome to The Simple Life.